Atlantic City, New Jersey, and an evening of HBO Boxing After Dark. It's brought to you by Gelb Promotions with DeBella Entertainment and the motion picture Undisputed, starring Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames, in U.S. theaters Friday, August 23rd. These bouts are sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. The three judges assigned ringside for this bout are John Potteray, John Stewart, and Steve Weisfeld, and your referee in charge of the action at the bell, Rudy Battle. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Taj Mahal, 10 rounds of boxing. This is in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trimmed with white. His official weight, 163 pounds, with an excellent professional record consisting of 15 victories, including 8 knockouts, with only 2 defeats and 1 bout even. From St. Louis, Missouri, here is Sam, the Punchin' Policeman Hill. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trimmed with dark blue, he officially weighs 163 pounds. This U.S. Olympian now has a perfect professional record of 10 bouts, 10 victories, including 7 knockouts. From Little Rock, Arkansas, ladies and gentlemen, the undefeated Jermain Taylor.
Okay, gentlemen, you've both received your pre-fight instructions. I expect a clean break at all times. Let's have a nice, clean contest. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Taylor says he has never been hurt in a fight yet. Hill says, I've got to mess up his head. See what he's made of.
Well, that said a lot when you say you've never been hurt and you went through all of the fights that Taylor's been through, is particularly a long amateur career that he had in international matches and Olympics.
10 professional fights so far for Hill, 10 wins, 7 by knockout. This his first scheduled 10-round assignment. And in Sam Hill, he's facing a very strong middleweight, as David Reed found out. There was a period of time during which Taylor's right hand required surgery, and he was able to train only with the left hand. As a result of that period, Pat Burns says both his jab and his hook have improved dramatically. He now believes that Jermain is a little better with the left than with the right hand, looking particularly for the left hook to the body to be a weapon here. Sweeping right hand gets the attention of Sam Hill. A little early counterpunching here from Jermain Taylor, and now Hill backing off and taking a look.
The speed seems to be bothering Hill already.
Hill keeps his hands very high, inviting body punches.
Chopping right hand across the top by Taylor seemed to stun Sam Hill. Reed was never able to get Hill in trouble even for a moment. But Taylor has already done some first-round damage to Sam Hill of the kind that David Reed was unable to produce.
Taylor's a much more aggressive and faster fighter with a lot more spirit than David Reed.
Was Hill's win over Reed something of a mirage because Reed is so badly deteriorated now, Emmanuel?
I definitely think it was more of a deterioration on the part of Reed more so than the talent of Hill.
You see the hand speed of Jermain Taylor as Hill reaches out with the left hand, and Taylor's able to whack him with both the right and the left in return. First round has been all the aggression and the hand speed of Jermain Taylor so far.
Taylor has turned Hill into strictly a defensive fighter right now. His main purpose is just to survive. Hill doesn't seem to be focusing at all on trying to mount any kind of offense.
Jermain Taylor now doing the bulk of his training in Miami, where surely the sparring partners are more plentiful than is the case in Little Rock, Arkansas. Some still wonder if he's going to get over the long haul the kind of work he needs to maximize his potential, but with Pat Burns in Miami. He's got a good training situation right now.
Pat Burns is a very good trainer, and he's paid his apprenticeship too. He was a very good, solid coach for the amateurs before going into professional.
And incidentally, he's a former policeman as well, so that neutralizes the law effect here.
Yes, very well represented tonight. To this point, I have not saw Hill throw a meaningful punch such as a right hand.
Big first round for Jermain Taylor, who got off the mark early against Sam Hill.
Good job. Breathe and relax. Good job. Good job. When you find yourself a little bit short on that first jab, next time you come back, double up. Double up with it, okay? Jab's looking good, okay? Right hand?
In the moment, brother. He ain't nothing but a man just like you. Now, get your stick. You got to double up on it, man. You got to double up on it. You got to 1-2 off of it. You can't be repetitious with what you're doing out here, man. And when he's shooting this stuff in here, you got to come off of it with sharp work. Catch and shoot, man. All right?
The right hand right over top, and if you notice, he's mixing up his work. He's going to the body and then over top, so it's very difficult for Hill to predict what he's going to do. Now he's coming back with a left hook. Hill is really totally confused right now, just trying to deal with the speed element.
It's tough on Sam Hill, working full-time as a beat cop in St. Louis. He works 3 weeks on a 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift and gets plenty of time to train. Then he gets 3 weeks of a 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. shift, and that puts a little bit of a crimp in the training. He has to get up earlier than he might like to and do his running on his own. And, of course, he fights infrequently because he only has 19 or 20 days a year, aside from weekends, that are available outside of the police department. So it's tough for him to get ready for fights. Jermain Taylor has been fighting consistently and exactly the kind of schedule you want to develop an Olympic prospect. He's got all the advantages here.
And I think that's been the biggest advantage, the activity level more than anything else.
You just see the greater comfort level for Taylor in the ring.
Yes, because he's fighting very regularly. And he's not only boxing, but he's aggressively boxing.
Hard body shot by Taylor. And Hill right now looks very discouraged.
Very discouraged. He's not planning on doing anything offensive. His entire mental makeup now is focused on trying to anticipate what Taylor is going to do.
In fairness to him, I think he fought the Reed fight similarly, trusting that Reed would slow down if he could survive these early rounds. So that's what I believe he's thinking now. Get through these early rounds. Taylor hasn't fought many rounds, and then see if he can do some effective punching.
But Reed didn't go to the ribcage, and Taylor's done a whale of a job of that already.
Taylor's mixing up everything, and I don't think Reed ever brought this type of a speed and power that Taylor's presenting tonight. It's a whole different ball game. And I don't think that Taylor's going to get tired neither.
Jermain is not a heavy-boned middleweight, so some wonder what kind of a puncher he's going to be. And he's not really settled down and flat-footed to maximize his punching power yet. He may be more of a speed fighter, Emmanuel.
Get this tape, but he mixes up his work good. I saw him win fights with the jab and knock out some guys with body punches. One of the few young fighters that's coming up that's really becoming a balanced out fighter.
That's what Pat Burns preaches in the gym.
And I like the fact that he operates mostly behind the left jab, which I love very much.
Second round of a scheduled 10. Jermain Taylor in the light blue trunks, flashing his great potential in early dominance over opponent Sam Hill.
Jack McKinney, an old friend and colleague from the Philadelphia Daily News, died this week. He was the best boxing writer I ever read, and much more. He was a classical music critic, a war correspondent, and a political pundit. He could sing a Puccini opera aria, a Gaelic folk song. He could recite chunks of Joyce and Shakespeare, He went into a lion cage with Clyde Beatty, and he sparred with Sonny Liston. He fought one professional fight, scored a first-round knockout, and retired. As Pete Dexter, another of us who ran with and adored Jack, wrote yesterday, it feels like a whole species went extinct. Amen.
All the risks Jack McKinney took, Larry. Pretty amazing he lived past 70 years, huh?
Well, he was more amazing than most of the amazing people and events he covered.
Third round of a scheduled 10. Jermain Taylor controlling the action in the first 2 rounds against Sam Hill. And surely, as Larry mentioned earlier, Emmanuel, part of Hill's strategy would be to wait Taylor out. Jermain has never gone 10 rounds before. Maybe Sam is thinking that in the later rounds he can assert himself.
I think also part of the reason he's not opening up more is really trying to protect himself. He has a real problem of dealing with Jermain's speed. And if he starts trying to throw power punches, he will leave himself open. He's very content to just do a jab out once in a while and to keep his hands held up high whenever Taylor comes at him.
Gotta love the sharpness and quickness early of Jermain Taylor's left hand.
Yes, I love his jab. Everything he does, he finishes up and he goes right back to his jab right after that.
Zestful body punching, combinations. Doesn't really throw a lot of 3 and 4 punch combinations yet.
Well, it's because the guy's on defense all the time, so he senses that the guy's waiting. So he's just throwing just enough, and then he pulls back, and then he goes back to his jab.
Taylor has all the athletic ability in the world. Question is, can he master the nuances of boxing? Can he do so coming from a small town background without having had, you know, the Philly or Chicago or New York training early on?
I think he can. The fact that he did so well in amateur boxing coming from that town meant that he was competing with the kid from the top cities in America successfully. Now in Miami with Pat Burns, things are going to be okay.
And talk about citizenship, incidentally. He's 24 years old. You don't find it all that often. He calls everybody sir.
Looks like Hill is ready to go down.
Sam Hill has landed a total of 7 punches in the whole fight so far, including 2 punches in this round. He's taking an early beating.
And what's going to happen, I think Taylor's going to realize that he's holding his hand so much, and he's going to start punching right between the center of the gloves.
And there's a welt mounting under the right eye of Sam Hill, who wears an increasingly pained expression on his face as Jermain Taylor tattoos him to the body and the head.
So you're breathing down. Nice and relax. Give him a little water, fellas. Breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. Okay. Stay with that jab. Don't circle so much now. Okay, when you get him to the rope, you don't let him out. Hold him in there with your jab.
And you catching it, but you ain't coming back with no work. Okay? I'm not finna let you stand out here and get beat on the whole.
Well, trainer Pat Burns and Jermain Taylor promised some body work, particularly with the left hand, and Manny, we've gotten it so far.
Beautiful body work. Very, very precise punches.
See the commitment to these body punches.
Good body shots, both sides, not just one side. And now he's mixing it up, going to the side and then going up through the middle.
He's put a lot of hurt on Sam Hill in the first 3 rounds. And the CompuBox numbers so far very one-sided in favor of Taylor. Harold Letterman, how do you have it scored through 3?
Okay, Jim. 3-0, 30-26. Jermain Taylor. Jim, I got to tell you, that third round he won so decisively. I just can't see you scoring a round like that 10-9. The judges really have to go 10-8 without a knockdown on these very, very, very decisive rounds. And certainly you saw one in the third round when Jermain Taylor, effective aggressiveness and murderous punching.
Jermain Taylor is landing so effective with his left jab that even when Hill holds his hands up, he even blocks the punches. He punches through the gloves even. He makes Hill's own glove actually hit him in the face sometimes.
As Taylor goes back to work with a 4-punch combination to the body, just whacking Hill at will. And I've mentioned some of his excellent qualities, good work ethic, outstanding citizenship, polite, well-mannered, calls everybody sir. He's also handsome enough to have a modeling contract awaiting him in New York, and he's the chosen cover boy for next year's Everlast equipment catalog.
That's amazing.
For a guy in his second or third year as a pro, that's really remarkable.
But he's looking very impressive though.
Stay upstairs, Taylor.
Does cut quite a figure in his Everlasts.
He looks like he's the complete package right now of all of the guys that come from the Olympics.
Well, he doesn't have the punching power of Jeff Lacey.
But I think he's more balanced out in a lot of other ways, though. And he's got good punching power. But I like the fact that he does everything off of the left jab. And he mixes up his work very well.
Hill said he knew that Taylor was going to go to the body, and he took a lot of medicine balls and tried to steel himself for it, but I don't think you can get prepared for these kind of a murderous body attack.
On behalf of the St. Louis Police Department, Sam Hill has been participating in an NBC television series called The Bravest and the Finest. It's a show in which firefighters and police from around the country compete in a Superstars-style competition, 4 from each department. St. Louis, with Hill as the spearhead of the team, has made it to the final. Here against Taylor, he's been brave, plenty. He just hadn't been fine.
He just can't fire the big punches, and if he does do that, he's going to commit himself to getting hit more. So he's going to be content, I think, until this fight ends, to merely hold his hand up and try to survive.
But how does he know he's going to get hit more until he tries? You know, maybe if he happens to hit Taylor, the equation will shift a little bit.
Big left hook.
You're right, but I think he feels that punching power, and he knows possibly what could happen.
Yeah, but this is not a situation out on the street where you're trying to talk a guy out of a bad situation. You've got to punch him out of it.
A scenic look at the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We're in the Mark Giettis Arena at the Trump Taj Mahal Hotel, watching middleweight Jermain Taylor and getting ready to watch heavyweight David Tua. Tua singing a different tune than in some of his previous bouts. He himself says that his enthusiasm waned, particularly after the loss to Lennox Lewis. But he's thoroughly committed now and says he's got to rededicate himself to being the best he can be.
I close my eyes. I say,
Play something a little faster tempo to get my fighter ready to go into the ring, I think, Emmanuel.
Yep.
Start a combination, finish it with a
A
jab.
smoky ballad, but only
Would you please come with some work, bro?
CompuBox numbers in round 4. Taylor 21 out of 54, including 17 out of 24 power shots. Sam Hill 4 out of 25. He was 3 of 19 in the preceding round. It's been a CompuBox numbers landslide so far for Jermain Taylor. And if you're in Sam Hill's corner, I think you got to start wondering, if he doesn't get more aggressive and he just keeps taking punishment, how busted up do you want to let him get?
Yes. He's not getting hit really clean with the punches, but just the power of Taylor just going through the gloves is moving his entire body when he hits him.
And you can see the discouragement.
All right, quick, let him go, let him go. Stop punching. Step out, step back, step back.
Taylor's management said that no matter what the result of the fight tonight was, that they weren't going to rush him. But a performance like this, they may have some difficulty in finding many opponents on this or a slightly better level.
Based on what I see tonight, they're going to have to step him up, I think, because
he's come a long way.
Yeah,
Stop talking in there. Let's box.
He's come a long way. He had balance problems 6 months ago, which are nowhere in evidence tonight.
No, he's a complete fighter tonight, and his left jab is so punishing.
The closest that Jermain came to a moment of sarcasm or levity yesterday in his very reverent appearance at our fighter meeting, I playfully said to him, so when you fought Sam in the amateurs, did you beat him? And he just looked at me and said, oh, come on, man. You know the answer to that. Pat Burns asks for a combination. Jermain Taylor delivers 1, 2, 3.
And he gets back to the jab after everything.
When you come back to the jab, you reestablish your balance, right, Emmanuel?
And your distance, too.
Fifth round of a scheduled 10. Jermain Taylor has gone past the fifth round only twice in his career. 7 knockouts in 10 fights. Early on, he was fighting 4-rounders, of course. Hill trying to get a little bit more aggressive, at least trying to let his hands go a little bit more in this round, but seemingly terrified of what's coming back.
Yes, he's fairly effective with the jab.
Let him up, let him up, let him up, let him up.
Sam Hill trying to get his legs going. And Jermain Taylor just keeps beating him up.
And the fans are beginning.
Tune in next Tuesday night for the next edition of Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. Among the stories, Washington Redskins rookie head coach Steve Spurrier was known in the college ranks for running up the score on his opponents, and the 49ers accused him of doing the same in the preseason opener. We seek to find out if Spurrier's personality on the field is the same as off the field.
Teams or coaches that score a lot of points, if you're calling the plays and you're the offensive coach like I am, and score a lot of points, you're going to be an arrogant, egotistical person.
The Golden Oar, what a competitor. Real Sports premieres Tuesday night at 10 p.m. right here on HBO.
A little bit more pressure. Have confidence in your condition. You are in good shape. Okay? We're going into round 6. You can do 20 of these rounds, okay? All right? Pick up the output a little bit. Good left jab. Get on the body, and let's put combinations together, okay?
If Hill is hoping that Taylor somehow punches himself out or winds down, it doesn't appear that that's going to happen.
Nope, because one thing Taylor's doing, he's landing most of his punches, particularly the left jabs. It's not like he was throwing punches and wasn't landing, he would be getting tired, but he's very effective.
You know what's the terrible news for the St. Louis Police Department? After taking this beating, Sam Hill is going to have to get on a plane tomorrow and fly all the way to St. Louis. Then he's going to get on another plane Monday and fly with the members of his Bravest and Finest team to New York. Then they're going to tape the final of the Bravest and Finest competition on Tuesday. Now, how do you think Sam is going to feel Tuesday after the punches he's taken tonight? I think I'm betting on the competitors, whoever they are, in the Bravest and the Finest final.
Well, you know, he did land a right hand in there while you were...
while I was jibber-jabbing.
Yeah, jibber-jabbing.
Not only
amusingly, Jim.
Not only one of his best right hand, but one of the best punches of the night that would land it cleanly.
Yeah.
The kind of punch that knocked out David Reed.
Yeah.
Because that's what he got to Reed with, was right hands over the top.
Yeah, but it definitely got Jermain Taylor's attention for a moment anyway, I can tell you that much. There's that left jab, and it's extremely effective. Probably the most effective punch of the entire night.
Again, Hill let that right hand go.
Yes, he did. It was a good delivery to him.
Well, one lesson that Taylor is learning is that some nights it's going to be very hard to get rid of a guy simply because he's going to want to survive.
Yep, his mind is mainly on defense, but he's thrown a few right hands lately, and they were good right hands. I think the type that if I was Taylor, I would be a little bit more careful. But if he starts punching back himself, it means that Hill's going to open up himself to be hit back also, which is the danger.
Left hook lands for Jermain Taylor. Hill has had trouble stopping the right hand because the left hand is so quick and so active.
He cannot handle the left hand.
Tough dog. Guy doesn't want to go down. Okay, you threw one real nice combination in there, Jermain. One real nice combination that came right off your right hand. Okay, it was a nice sharp left hook. Okay, some of the hooks you're throwing, just those little slapping, sliding hooks. That hook you throw off the right hand was a nice shot, real nice shot. Start with the jab, you throw that right hand, start bringing that left hook right to the ear. Okay?
They're not there, man. You threw your right hand, left hook, you caught him with a couple of them right hands. But they so far and few and in between, fuck, he ain't worried about it. You know, come on, man. Come on, man. You know, give me a jab, give me a double jab right hand, just basic stuff. Double jab right hand, step around jab, okay? And on the inside, come with a short right hand, left hook. Give me a short left hook.
Round 7.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 6-0, 60-53. Jermain Taylor. Jim, I got to tell you something. These rounds are so decisive. In truth, the judges could have scored any of them 10-8, and this guy's got an obligation to perform. I hope he does open up soon. In the 6th round, he threw his first meaningful right hand, but it's all Jermain Taylor.
Hill landed his highest number of punches in the fight by CompuBox estimate in the 6th. They counted 5. But the bad news is that Taylor landed 29. You heard Pat Burns complimenting Taylor for the fine left hook he threw off of a right cross. Hill's corner asking for more right hands.
Well, he shot a couple of good right hands. I think he should shoot them.
This is why Olympians at this stage of development may not be ready for prime time because they're not yet into seriously competitive fights.
And one thing that I do like often now, after Taylor finishes up punching to the outside, then he finishes up throwing a punch through the middle.
Looks like Taylor got uncomfortable with the crowd being restive and decided he would give them some entertainment. As long as he doesn't take a chance that Pat Burns doesn't want him to take, probably good.
Well, he's doing all of the fighting, really. He's fighting for two people for the most part, because Hill isn't doing anything. So if he does get a little tired, he's entitled to that.
Hill's going to have some sore ribs, some sore arms, sore hands from catching blows on his fists.
Hill has been fairly successful by shooting those right hands.
Taylor's been a lot more successful with his own right hand.
Yeah, and he's punching with so much power. Even when he'll box a punch, he just moves his whole body around still.
Good show of energy in the 7th round of a scheduled 10 for Jermain Taylor, who's never been past the 8th round. Taylor suffered a cut from a headbutt in his last fight, and the people in his corner say he responded perfectly to that. Didn't even paw at it with his glove. Trusted the cut man, went right on about his work. One of the adjustments from amateur to professional boxing, because of course in the amateurs you wear headgear. Another totally one-sided round in favor of Jermain Taylor. Tune in each Wednesday night during the NFL preseason for Hard Knocks, training camp of the Dallas Cowboys. Our unprecedented access takes you up close and personal with head coach Dave Campo and with superstars like Emmitt Smith. We document the harsh reality facing those players fighting just to earn spots on the roster. Hard Knocks, weekly installments premiering Wednesday nights at 11 here on HBO.
I want you to go forward. Okay, hands up, behind your jab, go forward. Behind your jab. Jab, jab, right hand, left foot. All right? On the inside, he hitting you all on the arms around here, man. Would you just let a left hook, right hand go, please, on the inside?
15 more of these. Pick up your output. He's looking for one punch. Left hand up. Look for the combinations. When you break, come back right away, okay?
Round 8.
Round 8, first scheduled 10-round assignment for post-Olympic middleweight prospect Jermain Taylor in the light blue trunks.
Both corners are giving their fighters good instructions. Hill's cornerman, Kevin Cunningham, is giving him good instruction too. He particularly has an advantage at some stage now if he would start punching more, because I think Taylor's gotten so reclined to just punching himself and not expecting nothing back that anything that Hill shows may be effective because he's not going to be looking for it.
Taylor landed the sweeping left hook, then he landed the quick left hook. Now he fires the left hook to the body and lands that too. Got a tendency every once in a while to let that hook drift out into a sweeping motion, but sometimes he's very quick with it. Sam Hill's trainer Kevin Cunningham said, please, would you just let a left-right combination go one time? Easy for Cunningham to say.
Yes, but it seems to me that Taylor is more vulnerable for a short right hand right over the shoulder when he leans in close. But Hill is afraid to do it, I think, because he's just afraid of getting hit back as he throws a punch. But that's what seemingly Taylor's vulnerable for, is a right hand.
Sometimes in boxing, the best defense is the threat of a great offense. When guys think that the other guy's going to hammer them, they don't throw.
That's exactly what's happened here tonight. It's not like saving it all. The fight is nearly over with now. So whatever Hill is going to do, he should be doing it now.
It's not even like Taylor's all that hard to hit. If you want to throw, you'll probably find him. But there might be something coming back, and that's what Hill didn't want.
Right. He's been very effective, I thought. Even with the right hands that he missed, he barely missed.
48 seconds to go in the round. By CompuBox numbers, Sam Hill has landed one punch. Taylor able to just walk away from that leaning right cross.
Watch the elbow now. Watch the forearm.
Boxing After Dark, coming to you live from the Boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Mark G. Edis Arena at the Trump Taj Mahal, where Michael Moorer hopes to continue his climb back toward contender status in the heavyweight division. The man who held the heavyweight championship of the world for 7 months in 1994, trying to focus and concentrate his efforts. Still young enough, he thinks, to make a dent in the division, still skillful enough to mean something if he can prove his will. There was a Hawaiian Tropic swimsuit contest in a bar here at the Trump Taj Mahal just a little bit earlier this evening. And the contestants in the Hawaiian Tropic swimsuit contest have become the round card girls for tonight's boxing show. And that in itself has dramatically upgraded the normal contingent of round card notifiers here in Atlantic City. So probably people have a better idea than ever before in Atlantic City what round it is. Right now it's the 9th.
You know, I often get tapes to look at fighters. Sometimes we don't see them. I want to take a look and see how they're progressing. If I got a tape of this fight, I'd have looked at about a minute and a half and said, that's it. Don't have to see anything more. We saw everything in the first minute and a half, and nothing has changed.
Yep, it's a pattern fight, Larry. I agree with you. The same pattern. One guy's offensive, one guy's defensive.
Larry, are you suggesting we should show more ground card girls?
You can read it that way, yes, Jim.
I was just trying to figure out what was between the lines there.
I'm sort of thinking that maybe we could have 3 minutes of round card girls and 1 minute rounds.
We're in the 9th round. Through the first 8, Sam Hill, by CompuBox numbers, threw exactly 200 punches. That's an average of 25 a round, and it means he's shy to throw because of the way he's been getting hit by Jermain Taylor. Taylor averaging more than 60 punches a round. Good right hand again by Hill. Trying to launch a big right hand that'll change everything. Now finally he puts a jab in front of it. Low blow for Hill. On the other side of referee Rudy Battle, he didn't see it. Taylor unfazed by all that. One of Taylor's Olympic teammates for the United States, Joe Navarro of Los Angeles, also fought on the undercard. 9 rounds in the books.
Okay. Jab hard, keep your hands up. What's he looking for? He's just looking for a right hand. That's all he's looking for. Okay? Hands up. From the shoulders. Combinations. Jab, right hand, look for the combination. Don't give him a break. When you step back, come right back with a nice solid jab.
This is your last one. This is your last one. These go out and they gonna be on fighting this motherfucker. All right? Damn, man, you work too hard, baby. You save yourself, come up with a good fight, man.
You can't win this fight with a bench warrant, Sam.
Okay, let's touch him up.
The punching policeman, Sam Hill of the St. Louis Police Force, against Jermain Taylor of Little Rock, Arkansas, now training in Miami in the 9th round. Hill landed 7 punches. That's the most he's landed in any round in the fight by CompuBox numbers. Taylor landed 34. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim, 90 to 80, 9 rounds to nothing, Jermain Taylor. He's winning this fight very decisively. The only question you have is how many 10-8 rounds the judges are scoring, because certainly, you know, he's doing enough without a knockdown to win these rounds 10 to 8. But I got a comment, Jim. The only way you're going to make this guy fight is if you go to the corner and say, hey, either you fight or you don't get paid.
It's an interesting comment, because once upon a time, promoters would go into a corner and tell the guy, not quite that, but they would tell him they're never going to see him again.
Hill doesn't make a decision now. He knows he's lost the fight. If he wants or has any desire to win the fight, now is the time he's going to fight. And if not, he's just going to survive the fight and say that, hey, I didn't get knocked out.
Looks like he's planning to try to make it through 10 rounds.
Keep him up, Taylor. Keep him up.
Jermain Taylor still showing speed and combination punching in his first ever 10th round.
Well, he's been doing the fighting for both opponents, but by the same token, if he fought someone that had been fighting him back, he'd possibly be more exhausted also.
All right, let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Nice and clean.
Sam Hill has just been outclassed. He's obviously tried to do his best. His best just isn't anywhere near good enough. It's a
crowd being a little unfair to Hill. I mean, this is one of those matchmakers mismatches.
Right.
There's nothing Hill could have done.
It's a young lion against an old water buck.
Well, Emmanuel Stewart, how has Jermain Taylor handled the 10-round distance?
I think he's did a good job. He's mixed up his work all night. And even though the opponent has not punched back, he still maintained his tempo. He's never slackened up.
Does the fact that he has not floored Hill, landing all these power punches, indicate a shortage of power?
No, I think he's punching good. But when you're fighting a guy that's experienced and his main purpose and objective is strictly to survive, it's very, very difficult to knock him out.
I'm sure Pat Burns is going to say, I'm glad we went the full 10. Patience and discipline. That's what he's looking for.
That's what he's looking for. But I think he's become a better fighter for this still.
Easy victory for Jermain Taylor. It's going to move his record to 11-0 with 7 knockouts. Send him on toward bigger things in the middleweight division, as Larry Merchant said. The problem will soon be how to get him fights against opponents of reasonable quality and not at the championship level yet.
How do you feel going 10 rounds?
Well, he's 24 years old,
looks good.
So that perhaps
Rock, Arkansas, baby?
His career trajectory can be moved a little bit quicker than they anticipated. But there are guys out there that will test him. He still hasn't been hurt as a professional. And those questions will be out there until somebody lands one on his jaw.
Sam Hill, as we mentioned, flies back to St. Louis tomorrow and will take his bruised body on the plane to New York Monday for the final of The Bravest and the Finest on NBC. Good luck, Sam. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on this decision.
We go to the scorecards here at the Trump Taj Mahal. Jon Stewart and John Potteray score the contest 100-90. Steve Weisfeld sees it 100-88. All for the winner. By unanimous decision, still undefeated, the man with bad intentions, Jermain Taylor.
The typical path of a young developing contender. First they fight the down and outers and the no-hopers, then the fringe journeyman. Now Taylor moves into the high-class journeyman category and totally dominates Sam Hill, landing more punches than Hill threw and landing at a 43% overall connect rate, meaning that he did a good job of using his left hand to set up his other punches. Good jab, good hook to the body. Power punches. Taylor landing 156 out of 267, probably the bulk of those 156. Power shots thrown to